Election night 2024. Tonight we have Republican Governor of the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, versus the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Tonight, Vice President Harris makes history as the first Asian American presidential candidate to be on a major party ticket. If elected, Harris will be the first female and Asian American president. Well, let's get started. It's 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have poll closings out of the states of Vermont, Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, South Carolina, and Georgia. We can now project that Ron DeSantis will win the state of Kentucky along with its 8 electoral votes. Ron DeSantis will also win the state of Indiana in its 11 electoral votes. Kamala Harris will win the state of Vermont in its 3 electoral votes. Georgia is currently too early to call, with Kamala Harris leading with 52.1% and Ron DeSantis with 47.1%. Georgia is a state that both candidates are eager to win, because Joe Biden flipped the state blue back in 2020, so the Republican Party is hopeful to flip it tonight, and the Democratic Party is hopeful to keep it blue tonight. Virginia is too early to call, with only 5% of the expected vote in. Ron DeSantis is currently leading with 61%. The more conservative counties have been reporting first, so it's possible that this margin could change a lot throughout the evening. South Carolina is too early to call, with Ron DeSantis leading with 50.2% and Kamala Harris not too far behind with 49.3% of the vote. We can now project that Ron DeSantis will win the state of South Carolina in its 9 electoral votes. Also, Kamala Harris will win the state of Virginia in its 13 electoral votes. Here's an updated electoral map of how the candidates are doing. Currently, Ron DeSantis is leading with 28 electoral votes to Harris's 16 electoral votes. Now it's 7:30 on the East Coast, and we have poll closings out of the states of Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina. Ron DeSantis will win the state of West Virginia and its 4 electoral votes. Sorry about that. Now, the state of North Carolina is currently too close to call, with Kamala Harris leading at 51.2%, and Ron DeSantis a little behind with 49.4%. Currently, the more liberal counties are reporting numbers, so it is possible that this could change over time. Ohio is too early to call, with Ron DeSantis with a pretty good lead with 53.5% to Kamala Harris's 45.5%. Now it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have poll closings from the states of Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. Kamala Harris will win 3 out of 4 of Maine's electoral votes, winning Maine at large in Maine's first congressional district. The Vice President will also win Connecticut and its 7 electoral votes. Kamala Harris will also win the state of Rhode Island's 4 electoral votes, and Massachusetts' 11 electoral votes. Kamala Harris will also win the state of New Jersey's 14 electoral votes. She will also carry President Biden's home state of Delaware, the state in which he served as a United States Senator before his vice presidency. Kamala Harris will also win the state of Maryland's 10 electoral votes. She will also carry the District of Columbia's 3 electoral votes. The Vice President will also win Illinois' 19 electoral votes. Ron DeSantis will win Missouri and its 10 electoral votes. Governor DeSantis will also win Oklahoma and its 7 electoral votes. He will also win the state of Tennessee and its 11 electoral votes. Ron DeSantis will also win the state of Mississippi's 6 electoral votes. He will also win the state of Alabama's 9 electoral votes. Ron DeSantis will also win Maine's 2nd congressional district. Ron DeSantis has a pretty solid lead over Kamala Harris with 54.2% of the vote to Kamala Harris's 44.2% of the vote. This is the margin 2% larger than former President Trump's margin in 2020. New Hampshire is too close to call, with Kamala Harris with 50% of the vote to Ron DeSantis' 49.9% of the vote. This is a race we're all currently watching. It is currently very, very close here. Pennsylvania, a crucial state for each candidate's victory tonight, has Ron DeSantis leading with 48.8% of the expected vote and then Kamala Harris is not too far behind with 45.2% of the vote. Ron DeSantis' home state has about 10% of the expected vote in, with Ron DeSantis leading with 56.3% of the vote. Now we can project that Ron DeSantis will win the state of Ohio. Ron DeSantis has a 55.1% of the vote in Ohio. The margin of victory is even bigger than President Trump's victory in 2020. And as seen, Ohio's been slowly shifting to the right. Okay, so here we have an updated electoral map with Ron DeSantis at 93 electoral votes and Kamala Harris at 90 electoral votes. There's still a lot of more states and battleground states to be counted, so this margin could change throughout the night. Now at 8:30, we have only one poll closing of tonight at this time out of the state of Arkansas. Ron DeSantis will win the state of Arkansas 6 electoral votes. It is now 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have poll closings out of the states of New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and the state of Louisiana. Some of these states are must-wins for both candidates. Kamala Harris has won the state of New York and its 28 electoral votes, no surprises here. She will also win the state of Minnesota and its 10 electoral votes, and Colorado's 10 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has also won New Mexico's 5 electoral votes. Ron DeSantis will win North Dakota's 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota's 3 electoral votes, and Wyoming's 3 electoral votes, no surprises here. Ron DeSantis will also win the state of Kansas's 6 electoral votes, and Louisiana's 8 electoral votes. He will also win Nebraska at large in District 1 and District 3, giving him 4 out of the 5 Nebraska electoral votes. Vice President Harris is projected to win Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, giving her another electoral vote. So, Kamala Harris has 52.4% of the vote in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. The state of Michigan has some very, very close margins currently. Michigan is a state that will be crucial for the vice president to win if she wants to win this election. Kamala Harris is currently leading in the state of Wisconsin over Ron DeSantis. The state of Wisconsin is a must-win for Ron DeSantis tonight. Texas has only 5% of the vote, and it's already very, very close. Kamala Harris is ahead by only around 100 votes, so a lot could change. Texas has been slowly shifting blue, and it is a must-win for Ron DeSantis tonight. Arizona is too early to call. President Biden flipped the state in 2020, and changing voter demographics have slowly changed, so it may be a little challenging for Ron DeSantis to win this state tonight. Now we have some major projections coming up. Ron DeSantis' home state of Florida Florida's 30 electoral votes. The state in which he is the governor of, he will win those electoral votes. With Florida's quick counting, Ron DeSantis will carry 54% of the vote, higher than Trump's margin of victory in 2020. Kamala Harris will win the state of New Hampshire's 4 electoral votes. Kamala Harris won the state with 53.4% of the expected vote. Here's an updated electoral map with Ron DeSantis at 166 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 148 electoral votes. It's now 10 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have poll closings from the states of Montana, Iowa, Utah, and Nevada. Ron DeSantis will win Utah's 6 electoral votes. He will also win Montana's 4 electoral votes. Nevada is too early to call with only 5% of the vote in. The counties are very slow to report currently, so we do not expect a major projection until later tonight. Iowa's too early to call with only 1% of the expected vote in. Ron DeSantis is currently leading with 69%, which is expected to change slowly. It's now 11 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have poll closings in the states of Idaho, Washington, California, Hawaii, and Oregon. Ron DeSantis will win Idaho's 4 electoral votes. Kamala Harris will win Washington State's 12 electoral votes. She will also win Oregon's 8 electoral votes. Kamala Harris, no surprises here, will carry her home state of California's 54 electoral votes. Vice President Harris will also win Hawaii's 4 electoral votes. We have some major projections in the race for the White House coming up next. Ron DeSantis will win the state of North Carolina, a state essential for his campaign. Ron DeSantis will win the state of North Carolina with a slightly higher margin than a victory than Trump's, with 50.9% of the expected vote. Ron DeSantis will also win the state of Texas with a very slight decrease than Trump's margin in 2020. Ron DeSantis will also win Iowa's 6 electoral votes. He wins Iowa with 52.9% of the vote to Kamala Harris's 46% of the vote. Here's an updated electoral map. The 2 candidates are currently neck and neck in the race to the White House. Ron DeSantis has 232 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 226 electoral votes. It's now 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and we have our final poll closing of the night out of the state of Alaska. Ron DeSantis will carry Alaska's 3 electoral votes. His margin of victory is slightly smaller than Trump's in 2020. We have some major projections in the race to the White House coming up next. Ron DeSantis will win the state of Wisconsin and its 10 electoral votes. This is a state that Joe Biden flipped in 2020. Ron DeSantis has won Wisconsin with 49.6% of the vote, while Kamala Harris has 48.1% of the vote in Wisconsin. Kamala Harris will win the state of Michigan in its 15 electoral votes, a state that was flipped by Trump in 2016 but flipped again by Biden in 2020. Kamala Harris wins Michigan with a slightly larger margin than Joe Biden in 2020. Another race that the nation has been waiting for, Kamala Harris will win the state of Arizona in its 11 electoral votes. Arizona was flipped blue by Joe Biden in 2020 due to changing voter demographics. Kamala Harris won the state with 49.3% of the vote, a slightly smaller margin than Joe Biden, and Ron DeSantis was right behind her with 49.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris has won Nevada with 50.9% of the vote, while Ron DeSantis has 47.9% of the vote. Now to put into perspective of how close the race for the White House is, we have an updated electoral map. Kamala Harris leads with 258 electoral votes, while Ron DeSantis is not too far behind with 245 electoral votes, excuse me. Harris must win at least one state to get her over 270 electoral votes, but Ron DeSantis must win both remaining states to win the presidency. We can now project that a little bit of a surprising projection for the DeSantis campaign. Ron DeSantis has won the state of Georgia's 16 electoral votes. With changing voter demographics, experts were not sure about if Ron DeSantis would win this state. Ron DeSantis has won Georgia with a very close margins. Ron DeSantis got 49.5% of the vote, while Kamala Harris got 49.4% of the vote. A crucial win for Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis has won Pennsylvania's 19 electoral votes. And this win in Pennsylvania makes Ron DeSantis the president-elect of the United States of America with 280 electoral votes. Ron DeSantis won Pennsylvania with 50.1% of the vote. This is a very disappointing loss for Kamala Harris because this is the bare state of President Biden. Ron DeSantis has won the presidency with 280 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 250 votes. Thank you for watching, and make sure to share feedback in the comments and ways I can improve my videos. Until next time.